Well, the tactic alone says it's amazing, so we might as well take a look. This one is called the Amazing 4222 Gegen Press Matas. There is a description. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but it does say that the tactic fits any club, practically unstoppable. Well, those are some words I love to see. So we're going to test out in a holiday sim with our three teams of Manchester City, Crystal Palace in the Premier League, and our championship side of Derby County. So let's just dive in and get this underway. Premier League. Unfortunately, it wasn't all that unstoppable. But 83 points, you're only 3 off from Arsenal in first to second. So it's not bad. 80 goals is not bad either. Crystal Palace lying 8th place, 55 with 51 goals. That's kind of more on the average mark. Taking a look at Manchester City's fixtures, well, they got through Bolton in the EFL Cup all the way down to, funny enough, Derby County and lose out in penalties. Champions League, well, they get to Arsenal, sadly enough, and away from home they lose 1-0, which kicks them out. FA Cup, Nottingham Forest in penalties is where you lose there. So sadly, not the greatest of showings this season. Second place in the Premier League, not bad, but everything else, kind of woeful. Senior squad has some green in there, I guess, but goals 40 for Holland. There we go back to his normal. 12 for Doku. Assists 13 for Silva. Lewis with 12. An average rating 7.77 for Erling Haaland. Well, taking a look at Crystal Palace's fixtures, FA Community Shield against Liverpool, a 2-0 win, starting off really nice. EFL Cup, unfortunately, you lose out to West Ham 0-4, but you want to see some good news? Well, FA Cup against Liverpool, they win in extra time 2-1, and they win the Conference League against FC Midtjylland. Apologies for that pronunciation, but 2-3. 3 trophies. An absolutely insane amount for Crystal Palace. Well done. FA Community Shield may be a friendly trophy, but still, 3 is 3. That's a really nice outcome. Senior squad has some green to them as well. Goals. We get 29 for Mateta and Nketiah with 24. Assists, Mateta with 14, 13 for Nketiah. And then average rating, Mateta with a 7.31. A clean sweep for him. Data Hub, starting with Manchester City, performing much better than average. No question about it, attacking-wise, through the roof. 20 shots per game, 23 dribbles per game, 1.9 non-penalty XG, 2.1 goals per game. Yeah, pretty nice. 17 clean sheets, 14.3 fouls per game. Very well done. And switching it up to Crystal Palace, well, they've got the fouls per game at 15.6. They do have dribbles per game, 21.5, 10 clean sheets, 1.3 goals per game, 1.4 non-penalty XG. Definitely mid-table-ish. Premier League stats-wise, most shots for Man City, most shutouts, fewest shots against, most dribbles made, most tackles won, and fewest conceded. Haaland gets a 7.82, 33 goals overall. Most shots, it's pretty good season for him. Most player of the match awards, 15. Very nice. Premier League stats, though. Average possession, Man City in 9th with 50%, 49 for Crystal Palace. Points per game, pretty much where they lie. Man City in 2nd with 2.18, Crystal Palace in 8th with 1.45. Attacking-wise, most goals, Man City in 3rd with 80, Crystal Palace all the way down in 10th with 51. Goals per game, Man City 2.11 and Crystal Palace with 1.34. Shots for 776 for Man City. Crystal Palace in 5th with 581. Shots on target, 349 to Man City. Crystal Palace with 236. And shots per game, 20 with Man City. Crystal Palace with 15. Defensively, goals allowed. Man City topping the list with 31. Crystal Palace all the way down in 13th with 55. Shutouts, Man City with 17. Crystal Palace with 10. Shots against, Man City with 290. Crystal Palace in 4th with 446. Not bad defensively. But now I'm going to assume Derby County landed somewhere in the middle? Well, not really. They land in the top position, champions of the championship, 95 points, 106 goals. They did really well. Fixture-wise for Derby County actually looks pretty nice. EFL Cup, I'm going to tell you, they get to the final and they win against Tottenham. They beat the likes of West Ham. They beat the likes of Manchester United, Man City in penalties that we already saw, Charlton and Doncaster. They did an amazing job. FA Cup, however, they lose out against Swindon Town 1-0. So 2 trophies for Derby County is phenomenal. Taking a look at the championship stats, they've got most goals with 106, most yellow cards, of course, fewest shots against, most dribbles made, and fewest tackles won. Player stats, now I apologize, Patrick Agyamong with 748, and then Rian Brewster gets 11 Player of the Match awards. Data for Derby County, 14.7 fouls per game is through the roof. 12 clean sheets is not bad. And then attacking. They just went on a spree. 17.8 shots per game, 24.7 dribbles made per game, 2.3 goals per game, 1.7 non-penalty XG. They did really well, and it shows in the data. So now, as it comes to the tactic, I'm still trying to figure out how to bring you this because a lot of this doesn't make any sense. If you look here, this guy is a deep lying playmaker in possession. This is at the in possession screen on the left. On the right is the out of possession screen. And if I look at the deep lying playmaker, there he is as the deep lying playmaker. Out of possession, it says defensive midfielder. But if I go over to this screen, he starts as an advanced playmaker in possession and out of possession, a pressing defensive midfielder. However, the instructions are the same in possession and out of possession. So I'm not really sure what's going on there and how it works. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take a look at each individual one on both sides and just show you that, here we go. Let's click here. It is a ball playing goalkeeper. If we take a look at the instructions in possession and out of possession, I think those instructions are the same, but he becomes a sweeper keeper on the out of possession phase. On the fullback side of things, he is a fullback in possession. Here is the instruction in possession and out of possession. You can see tackle harder is changed. But if I look over here, you can see the in possession is tackle harder, or the out of possession instructions are tackle harder again, but he becomes a fullback there. Ball playing center backs in possession. There's the instructions both in possession and out of possession. He does become a center back, however, on the out of possession phase. Same with the ball playing center back on the right, in possession and out of possession. The out of possession becomes a center back. And then on the right side of things, the wing back in possession does have change to stay wider. Out of possession instructions are tackle harder. And if we look at it becomes a fullback on the out of possession side with tackle harder. So with that, the midfield starts out as a deep lying playmaker. In possession instructions, out of possession instructions, again, has the tackle harder. He does become, out of possession, a pressing defensive midfielder. Another deep lying playmaker, in possession instructions, out of possession instructions, becomes a defensive midfielder out of possession with tackle harder. An inside forward on the left, in possession instructions, you do see sit narrower, out of possession, tackle harder, becomes a wide midfielder out of possession, tackle harder, and in possession it still says sit narrower, so I'm assuming it's the same thing. Inside forward on the right as well, in possession, out of possession instructions. Don't worry about the pressing central midfielder. He does become a wide midfielder out of possession. And then our two front men, attacking midfielder out of possession, has tackle harder again. I'm assuming it's going to be this channel forward in possession. No changes to his instructions. He does have the tackle harder out of possession. And then in possession, the center forward, out of possession instructions, again, tackle harder. They have everyone tackling harder. Becomes out of possession a center forward, tackle harder. So that's how that's going to work. I'm going to assume team instructions. If we do all the instruction, you can see everything right there in possession and out of possession, and we're all set. So overall, how did this do for our three teams? Well, Derby County doing an amazing job getting 2 freaking trophies. That's insane. Crystal Palace may not have done well in the Premier League, but they got 3 trophies, and including the FA Community Shield, but it still counts. And then Manchester United, no trophies, but still doing second place Champions League next season. All in all, this worked very well. And as I usually say, if you take control of this, do your own training and transfers and things like that, I definitely think you could do a better job here. So overall, I would take a look at it. But that's it for me, Savvy and FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.